When I hear that there is a film based on a book that's out, what I do is I try to see how famous the film is and I try to assess how famous the book is. And based on that, I make my decision. However, sometimes I just waste my life by not reading the book and not watching the film. This brings me to my book today, which I just finished reading. It's called Ready Player One. It's by Ernest Cline. I'm not sure if it's a man or woman. Sounds like a man. Ernest Hemingway. So, Ready Player One is a fantasy-based, science fiction-based book, but to put it in that bracket is not doing it enough justice. Did I like it? Man, I'm absolutely blown away. I don't know what to say. It just has so many layers upon layers, and to classify it as a fantasy novel for someone who hasn't read many fantasy novels, I think it's a bit unfair on the book and on me because I'm not doing a good job at describing it, but I think it just goes beyond the beyonds in displaying its fortitude and knowledge, and it's so vast and spectacular and dazzling. And I gave it full marks, man. I think I it's a 5-star read, and just something I want to say about the book and how I read it. So I began the book, I think 2 or 3 days back, and on day one, I read just one chapter. On day two, I again read just one chapter. On day three, I read 20% of it, and today was day four. I decided at about 2 p.m. that or 1 p.m. I'm going to finish this book. I'm not going to do anything in the whole day. So the whole day I didn't do anything, and I kept reading, and at 12:30 a.m. I finally finished the book. So the whole day, it was a Thursday today. The whole day I've kept reading, and I just finished the book. And I'm happy I didn't linger this book on for 2-3 days because it has a lot of nice, good-hearted suspense. What age group should read this book? I say anywhere between 18 to 106. That's the age group that should read this book. So if you're between 18 and 106, you should probably read this book. Should you read it or audiobook it? I strongly recommend you read it because there are so many details about subcultures and ideologies and books and video games and gameplay. Man, I'm just blown away. I am shocked at how much one book contains. And you know what happens sometimes when you read books which could be based as young adult books, you get a bit irritated by their corniness. You get a bit irritated by their vulnerability. You get a bit irritated by the author's need to, appease the young audience in many books. Even when I'm reading John Green sometimes, I'm just a bit like, he shouldn't have done that. In this book, however, there is no corny moments. There's nothing corny about it. It's written very intelligently. It has a very good level of wit. It doesn't have the good guy winning all the time. It doesn't have the bad guy winning all the time. I think it's a very, very balanced book. And it's funny I'm saying this because this is just a trivial detail. If you get to reading this book, Ready Player One, you'll love it. Now, if you don't want to hear the story, you can skip this part. And just end my book review right here. Don't go further. I'm going to be talking about just the story. I'm not going to give any major spoilers, I think. So the story is that there is around 2040, maybe 20 years from now, there is a man who has made a great video game which all over the world many people are playing. It's a multiplayer role-playing game, and it's called Oasis, and everyone in the world is hooked onto it. Real life takes a backseat, and everybody lives their virtual life inside this game. So it has many different worlds and everything, settings. The owner of this entire franchise, this entire video game setup, he has just passed away, and he's left a massive wealth. And he sends out a 5-minute video to all the people who are subscribers. And the video says to everyone, members of Oasis, you know, I'm no more. He talks about his life and everything. And in the end, he says, I have no family to leave my wealth to. So what I'm going to do is, in one of the worlds, in some place, I've hidden a key or an egg. The person who finds that egg gets the $240 billion. And the video ends. So all over the world, everybody scrambles to get on it and start reading. And we are looking at the world through the eyes of a protagonist. And let's just call him Percival. We're looking at the world through Percival's eyes. And he's just a regular kid. He's not a regular kid. He's very shy. He doesn't go to school. He goes to virtual school. There are many, many layers and layers, like I'm saying. And the book goes from A to B to Z to Z1 to Z8 to ZZ8. I mean, it just goes beyond every single thing, man. Like, I feel like I've traveled to 2-3 different worlds and lived a few lives. It's that damn good. Now, that's all I'm going to talk about. That's the story. The story is about how many people are chasing this egg inside a big video game which the whole world is playing. And whoever gets the egg gets the reward. So the book is written by the person who got the egg. And he says this is just to lay to rest all the people who there's so many rumors and all that. So I just want to lay it to rest what exactly happened. I just want to tell my story. So that's the book, Ready Player One. And for the writing, I would give it 5 stars. For the characters, I would give it 5 stars. For the overall experience, I would give it 5 stars. If I had to complain about the book, I would say it's not an easy read, man. I think most people would not be able to read it. But if you have the time, like everyone does nowadays, and you don't mind spending a few days. It took me 3 days, but I'm a crazy guy. When I say I'm a crazy guy, I mean I'm just very driven and motivated, you know, to read. This is my 14th book this year, and one of the best ones. I don't give every book 5 stars, but I give this 5 stars. So if you have a lot of time on your hand and you are interested in science fiction, technology, youth, life, video games, computers, general geek stuff, lonerism, you should probably read this book. This was a quick review for Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Maybe not that quick. Thank you for watching, guys. You can also take care.